Hello and welcome to Dallas PD's Roundtable Talk. Today's discussion is about the Dallas Police Department's Quality of Life Initiative. The Quality of Life Initiative is the police department's response to aggressive panhandling. Today's panel is comprised of Dallas Police Assistant Chief Gary Tittle, Manager of the Dallas Police Department's Crisis Intervention Team, Dave Hogan, from the City Attorney's Office of Community Courts, Manager Diane Gibson, and Pastor and Executive Director of Our Calling, Mr. Wayne Walker. Thank you all for joining me, and let's jump right in. My first question is for Chief Tittle. Chief Tittle, is there a difference between panhandling and homelessness?
Absolutely. Good question, number one. But those two terms are certainly not synonymous. You have a lot of homeless who simply are not panhandlers. They do not take or participate in that act. Then on the other hand, you have panhandlers, all of which are not always homeless. And so to answer your question directly, no, that is not the case.
Is panhandling against the law?
Oh, absolutely. That is regulated, governed by our city ordinance. What we're focusing on with this most recent initiative that we have going right now is the aggressive panhandler. And that is the one that we certainly are looking out for. We're looking out for their actions, their aggressive actions. And as we move through the downtown area and the immediate surroundings of downtown, that's what we're focusing on as officers, and we're focusing on that aggressive behavior in order to make that arrest for that aggressive panhandling. And so that's what we're seeing, and it's a very productive initiative, and we're having some good luck taking some of those aggressive individuals off the street at that particular time and day.
Mr. Hogan, what is crisis intervention, and what is crisis intervention's role in the Quality of Life Initiative as it relates to panhandling?
What crisis intervention is essentially focuses on the motto of protect and serve. And we're on the serve end of that, where we don't do any kind of enforcement whatsoever. We do social work basically with citizens who have been in a crisis situation, been referred to us by police officers who have encountered them, and they know that they need further follow-up. Let's say it could be mental health, it could be family situations. Also, it involves homelessness too, because people who are unsheltered and homeless, we believe that they to be in an extended crisis state themselves. This is not something that normally people would do. So even though they may have adapted to that state, they are in a crisis state. So that is essentially what we do, is we deal with homelessness in that sense, and we attempt to make sure that the homelessness itself is not criminalized, but we deal with the individual homeless people. And how it deals with panhandling would be, as the chief said, that some of the panhandlers are homeless, and we have had, amazingly enough, some success in getting some of those homeless folks into shelters and into some treatments. It's not a great number, but it's been a few, so it's been worth the while.
For you, Ms. Gibson, what is community court?
That's an excellent question. Community courts is another form of Class C misdemeanor courts. The difference in community court and your regular municipal courts is that, unlike most courts, at community court, it is a court that deals with quality of life crimes, Class C misdemeanors. But here's the wonderful thing about community court. Most people think when I go to court, either I got money I need to pay or either I'm going to jail. That's not the case at community court. Since we actually deal with quality of life crimes, citations issued by Dallas Police Department or by code, then one of the things is first you come in, and once you actually come in, the thing is swift justice, number one. So when you're given that citation, you're actually given your court date. So within 7 days of receiving that citation, you're actually given a court date, you're in the court, and once you enter a plea of either guilty or no contest, that's when the help actually begins. Because at that time, we have licensed social workers in the court that actually is going to do an assessment. I honestly believe most people don't want to be out on the streets. They don't want to be under a tree drinking a beer. But because of the fact that they can't access the services that would benefit them, that's where we come in. And everybody is on an individual basis. It's not a cookie-cut case. It's actually assessment-driven. And so each individual is having an assessment done to find out what are some of the underlying problems. Why is this person out panhandling? What is it that we can do as a court and act as an advocacy to help you with those problems? And so that's where the help begins with that individual. And again, it's all going back to whether they're willing to receive the help or not. Because no matter what we offer, we can't force it on them. Now, the good thing about it being a part of the court system is that once that social worker make the recommendation to the prosecutor that this is someone that needs to either go back to school, we need to actually get them enrolled in employment, they need to look for housing. What gives us a little bit more teeth is now that prosecutor can make that a part of their probation. So, but again, it all goes back to, are you willing to get the help? And sometimes we have to try one time, sometimes we have to try 2 or 3 times. But guess what? A lot of times if people see that the person on the other side of that desk is trying to show a concerted effort in really trying to help them, they will. But you have to understand that if you've been out panhandling 10 or 15 years, it's not going to be done overnight. That's a process. And again, we can't arrest our way completely out of the problem either. And so it's going to take all of us working together with that individual because, again, keep in mind, this is not somebody that just decided they was going to start panhandling yesterday. This is somebody that they have actually figured this is a way of life for me. And then a lot of times they're either uneducated or undereducated. But again, people would be amazed at the number of people that are panhandling that have degrees.
There's a reason they're panhandling, because they're getting something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting something in return. And like you say, it may be the easy way for them. Very little effort that they put in.
You can help them by giving to agencies and not giving them the money, because one of the things that I always tell them, and I usually keep water and cookies in my car. So I'll give them a bottle of water, give them some cookies, and tell them I'll buy you lunch. But what I won't do is give them cash.
Someone mentioned the helping hand. Pastor Walker, on average, how many people does Our Calling service?
I wholeheartedly agree. So we work with 7,000 plus individuals in Dallas that are homeless. About 65% of them are sleeping on the streets at any given time. We visit over 1,200 locations. We know lots of panhandlers. We know guys that are not homeless that are panhandling and some that are. A panhandler is making over $50 an hour, easy. If 100 homeless guys can make $150 a day panhandling, that's $5.4 million a year. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. If you keep giving money to the same guy and expecting one day it's going to change his life, you are the walking definition of insanity. It fuels the drug trade, it fuels sex trafficking, it fuels this economy that's killing people. I mean, our friends are dying on the streets. We're laying down on the ground, holding them up, calling 911, waiting for you guys in the ambulance to get there because our friends are being hurt, or some woman's being hurt because of sex trafficking that she's involved in. Panhandling hurts people. It doesn't help them. Of course, I'm a pastor. I look at things from the Bible, and I think it's unbiblical and ungodly to ever give anybody money. Jesus said, when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. He never said you pass $2 my direction to appease your conscience and ignore my real needs. We want to address real needs with people, not just the felt need. You give somebody $10, the best thing they could do maybe is go to McDonald's. They meet 2 needs, toilets and food, and neither one of those do they eat really well, no offense. But if instead of giving that guy cash, he was to go eat at one of the places that serve meals for free every day for the homeless, and there's lots of places they can eat for free every single day, they're going to meet all kinds of needs. Not just the felt need, if I need a buck or a cigarette or some weed. They're going to meet the real needs, the counseling needs, the social needs, the theology needs, his spiritual needs, his family needs. That's what people really need. We produced this book to give the homeless. It lists the top 50 service providers in town, where the shelters are, the rehabs, the detox, the pregnancy centers. Where can I eat every single day for free? With a big map where those resources are found. This is what you give a guy on the street with a granola bar or a bottle of water. Consider investing in a personal relationship with a guy. Ask him his name, how can I pray for you? And point him to places that really help. But the more you keep feeding that guy fuel for the chaos in his life, the more you are responsible for where that money goes and what it paid for. You're responsible for the heroin he bought. You're responsible for the girl he's going to hurt tonight. When you give your money to that, you cannot divorce yourself from the responsibility of where that cash goes.
You talk about the manipulation, and part of that manipulation is that aggressiveness that they exhibit when they panhandle. One thing is to have that provider of that $2 or what have you have a good feeling, but also there is that threat or implied threat from that aggressive panhandler who, if you don't give me the $2, then what's going to happen?
And I applaud what the city's doing in this panhandling initiative. I think it's great. There are people out there that need money that will use it for good things. But the majority of those people that we work with, and we work with thousands of homeless individuals, and I know hundreds and hundreds of panhandlers that will tell me, I wish people would stop giving me money because every time they do it hurts me. And I don't know how to stop using. But as long as they put cash in my hand, I'm going to go smoke it up.
Mr. Hogan, what is the advantage that the Dallas Police Department has by staffing a crisis intervention team?
Well, if we look at the homeless outreach aspect of it, what it does, it provides services that the officers don't have the training, the initiative, and the time to do. They're involved in enforcement as they need to be. Consequently, we're there to assist in other ways, basically social services, follow up on that, and again, deal with it in a non-criminalizing manner. That's the key to it right there.
What is the success rate of community court?
Our success rate is at 85%. I am excited about the success rate because one of the things, we have to get them there. At first, we let them know that, first of all, this is not a court that's just going to arrest you and put you in jail and forget you. We're here to really help you. And so but we also explain to them, in order for us to do A, B, and C, you also have to do your part too. And so once we give them a program that they can work with, and we don't give them goals they can't reach, we make it possible for them to have reachable goals. And the other thing about it is we recently got a drug court grant, and so now we're able to pay for the treatment. So that's our first priority. If they come into the community court, and this is somebody that we know that either look like they're coming down off a high, on a high, we keep food in the court, food, coffee, water, whatever it is to need. We have clothes as well. So we'll actually take care of that immediate need. And then instead of giving them just a get out of jail card, we give them a state issued identification card. In addition to that, we give them bus tokens. So whatever that need is, we try to take care of either there directly, or we have 32 partners that we take care of it indirectly.
So we serve over 200 a day in our facility, and then we have teams that go to 1,200 locations around town. So we're serving, we got over 7,000 folks that we're tracking details on right now. We have an app that saves GPS coordinates and where we're serving people and what their needs are. But then we know we're also serving about 1,500 more that are not in our system. And one of our big focuses is trying to connect people with the social services that they really need. And so what we do, we're not a social service agency, but when we connect people to those resources, there are hundreds of nonprofits in Dallas that work with the homeless. In fact, years ago, we started creating these giant lists, and other organizations wanted to use our list. So we created the book, which a lot of officers carry these in their car. But we also created an app. And the app gives you access in your hand to where's the closest domestic violence center, where's the closest shelter, food pantry, rehab. Where can I eat every day for free? And so officers having this app in their hand when they see a homeless individual can quickly tell the guy, there's a place you can eat 3 blocks from here every day for free. Or when they take someone to a service provider, they can get all the names and phone numbers and resources. I can't tell you how many officers contact us and say, I need to get a woman into a domestic violence center, and the only one I know of is full. Well, our app goes even outside of Dallas. We connected resources in Denton County and Kaufman and different places around town to really connect individuals who have needs with the services they want. And then when we launched the Android app, it made it even more universal, because we see about 60% of the homeless community has cell phones, and they're all Androids. And so now the app is helping them find, where can I eat today? Where can I find a safe place to get away from these people hurting me and trying to cause chaos in my life? Because the goal is to connect those who have the needs with those that can fill the needs, right? And so in social services and community court and all the different things that we do, it's trying to connect those individuals with those service providers. If we're going to encourage people to not give money to the panhandlers, but give money to the social service providers, it's connecting the homeless back to those service providers. And so it's a unique way for us to complete the circle and allow everyone in Dallas to be a part of the solution.
Thank you to everyone who joined us on the panel today. We really appreciate your input on the Quality of Life Initiative. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Dallas PD TV's Roundtable Talk.